It's the tool that allows you to publish transactions on the Hedera network without paying for them with HBAR.
It's my pleasure to welcome Micah today. He is the head of engineering at the Hashgraph Group. Micah, thank you so much for giving us some time.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Well, I'm looking forward to what we're going to dig into today. But before we jump into it, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what your responsibilities are at the Hashgraph Group?
Sure. So, well, a bit about myself, history. I'm a trained software engineer, trained in Switzerland, in Lausanne, and I live in Switzerland. I fell in love with blockchain in 2016 with Ethereum and smart contracts, and this led me to, well, a lot of ICOs and this kind of things. And then I joined the Energy Web Foundation. This is where I learned a lot about ESG and carbon credits. And now I'm helping the Hashgraph Group building the best engineering team in the field. So that is my main responsibility, is to design and architect solutions and make sure that they are implemented correctly.
Well, let's dive into one of the first solutions that you're actually bringing to market. Can you explain what TransAct is?
Yeah, let's say in a few words, it's actually publishing transactions. It's a tool that allows you to publish transactions on the Hedera network without paying for them with HBAR. So you know that when you publish a transaction on the network, you have to have the HBAR in your wallet to convince the validators to accept your transaction. And when you talk to corporates, they don't like to buy crypto tokens. This includes HBAR. And they like very much the fact that they can have a predictable cost for the operations of their application. So Hedera provides you the predictability part because the transactions are labeled in dollars, but you need to prepay by buying the HBAR. So the TransAct is the middleman that buys the HBAR in your stead and allows you to use these HBAR and paying US dollars or whatever fiat currency you wish to be invoiced in. This is made possible by, well, the awesome features of the Hedera network, because this account abstraction part is part of the native protocol in Hedera. We don't need to jump through any hoops or anything. It's just part of the protocol. The account that pays for the transaction does not need to be the same account that the one that signed the transaction. There is no trust relationship as well. You simply use a publication service for your transaction. So you sign your transaction yourself, which also means that you need to hold the keys to your account, but you don't need to hold any HBAR. And this is very appealing to our enterprise customers because they don't like to hold HBAR. If you talk to any accountant in the corporate world and you ask them, how do you do accounting with crypto assets? Well, nine out of 10 will freak out and they don't want to do
it. That makes perfect sense. Now, you've already kind of touched on a lot of this, but maybe you could dive into it a little bit more deeply. Why did the Hashgraph Group feel the need to launch a service like this, and who are your expected users going to be? Can you go into some more details?
Sure. So maybe a bit about the history of how this came about. The main reason we actually built this was for internal use. So we noticed that managing HBAR for transaction is also a pain point. So if you have, let's say, 5 or 6 applications that use the Hedera network, it's much easier to have one wallet that holds all the HBAR and that pays for all the transactions than to make sure that all the wallets of each application have enough funding to publish their transaction. So we first and foremost built this tool for ourselves. It makes it easier and more efficient, and I think also importantly, more secure to manage your tokens. And then, so we had this tool, it was working internally, there was no interface, no billing, no nothing. And then we had a project with a corporate well, it's public knowledge. I can say their name. It was Heidelberg, the cement manufacturer, and they weren't very keen on holding HBAR. So we said, okay, so why don't we let them use this as well? And so we had to turn it into a product in order to be able to invoice this usage. But this is actually how it came about. It was built out of necessity and then productized because there was an ask. Now, as for the future customers of it, I think it's mainly the same type of customers. So you have a big corporate who has some requirements to use, for example, digital identity. It doesn't need to be a token application. There are so many applications that can use DLT and Hedera without tokens that it does make sense to have something. So if you have an application that does not handle value in any shape or form, like identity or traceability are the two main contenders here, then why would you buy any tokens at all? You don't touch tokens in any part of your application anyway. So it makes it much easier and simpler to just buy this transaction publication service.
The next thing I want to touch on is for enterprises and potential customers out there. What would their first steps be to use something like TransAct? And is there anything else we need to know about the platform?
So our main, I would say, business development in connection with TransAct is for projects that we build for enterprises. We offer this as a service, and this is our main, I would say, sales channel. It's not so much you have an application, you need an easier way. I think this will come in the future, but there are some additional steps that we need to take to make it maybe easier to implement and capable of scale. So right now we're at the beginning, we have a working version of it, but if we have 100 customers tomorrow, we would struggle. So we need to do some work to kind of make it scale. And then it's a software as a service offering. So it's something that could very well be engineered into a self-service platform where you just put in your credit card details and off you go. So this is definitely one of the things that we will build in the future. But first, we need to take the baby steps and offer it as part of ongoing projects. If tomorrow somebody came and said, "Ooh, I saw your nice talk on the podcast and I would like to try this out," there's definitely a possibility. And we would even be able to give out a grant for this. Transactions as part of a grant is definitely one thing that we want to do in the future as well.
All right, that makes sense. So the last thing that I want to ask is, this is the first instance where somebody like the Hashgraph Group, Hashgraph Association, or the Hedera Foundation has launched a product like this. Are you thinking about doing similar things in the future?
Yes, we have other products that we're working on, and actually that we have come out with. Like ID Trust is our identity platform. It's composed of a wallet and a management part. Well, you can pretty much manage all aspects of identity. And so it's a real identity and access management system that, we offer. We have open sourced a lot of it. So the identity SDKs are all open source under the Hero. I'm never sure how to pronounce that. The Linux Foundation project. Yeah. So this code is all available as open source so that others can build on top of it or use it to build their own solutions, because identity is best served by being integrated into an existing solution. So we have open sourced this. But at the end of the day, you still need the management console because this is something you don't want to build yourself. And this has not been open source, but this is something that we propose as a product.
Well, Micah, I love everything that I hear coming out of the Hashgraph Group. I think these kind of products are going to be invaluable going forward. And I'd love to have you come back on in the future to talk about further developments and any other products you might launch. So thank you so much for coming on today and telling us about TransAct. And I hope I talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much. Happy to have talked about it. It's always good to spread the word.
I'm now posting these interviews of Hedera builders independently to my channel. The community, influencers, and media outlets are free to use this content to spread the word on what's being built on Hedera. Once they're all uploaded, you'll be able to go to my channel and search for whatever topic or team you're interested in to find more information. Or you'll be able to get the most recent Hedera news by watching the latest HBAR weekly update. So check them out.